Hey, what is going on, guys? It is Young here, and today I'm back in our Fortnite video. And in today's video, I decided I wanted to try to go for a win playing on the max building sensitivity. I thought about doing a little bit different of a video, but I did boost my building sensitivity to the max, which is 5x, just for the heck of it, and then try to just go for some wins. And before we get into the video, I have a V-Buck giveaway. If you guys want a chance to win some free V-Bucks, all you guys have to do is to drop a like on the video. Make sure you guys subscribe to my channel and also subscribe to my second channel. The link for that will be in the description or the pinned comment. Turn on my post notifications and as well comment down below your Xbox gamer tag, your PSN gamer tag, or Epic account. And as well, if you guys would like to support me in the item shop, all you guys have to do is go over to the item shop, go down to support a creator, type in my code is Young Humor, and you guys will have me added and supported as a creator. I really do appreciate all you guys who do add me. And alright guys, let's go right to the video. Alright, so when I first put this setting on, it was pretty crazy. As you can see, the sensitivity is through the roof. And trust me, it's even worse when you actually play on it. You know, watching on screen, it doesn't look as bad. At least you can kind of see what's going on. But when I was playing, trust me, I had a few times, as you guys will see, where I was getting shot in the back, and I like flicked my analog stick over, and I got completely. I didn't know if I was facing like behind me. I didn't know if I was to the left or to the right. It was honestly pretty crazy. I couldn't even tell where I was. And so, I don't know, I just felt like doing a video where I just put on the max sensitivity and tried it. It was actually pretty crazy because I never put on a sensitivity so high, because the max I had before, as you guys know, is only at 2. So when it comes to building sensitivity, it would have been even crazier if I was on a higher sense, but I should have done. But when it comes to the building sense, when it comes, it says 2x, 3x, that's basically all that means, is that it's 2 times or 3 times your X and Y sensitivity. So if you're on a 1010 sensitivity and also have a 5x building speed, that's the fastest building speed that you could possibly have. I can't even imagine how fast that would be, but that's the fastest you could go. So this building sensitivity is probably half as fast as the fastest it can go, because my sensitivity right now is on like a 40 something percent, like a 51. So those are my so pretty much it would be double the building sense if I doubled my actual sensitivity, which would have been absolutely crazy, because that's just insanely high. And as you guys can see, I was barely able to control it. I had some guy like shooting at me beside me. I was turning around and just trying to figure out where everyone was at. And so when it came to just trying to go for wins, or just trying to at least try to, somewhat play with this crazy high building sense, I was trying to figure out the best way to play and the best way to go about it. And of course, the obvious one was just to not build, or build at least as possible, because that's the number one thing that changed, and it does make quite a big of a difference. And since the sense was so high, I definitely had a lot less control. So when it came to less control, one thing I did is I made sure that there was some builds or some certain things that I made sure I didn't do. Some types of, as you guys will see in a second after I kill this player, I go into another fight with a guy on top of Dusty Divot. He was on top of Dusty Depot, or he was on top of one of the buildings, and he was taking shots at me, and I could have gone for a side jump, but I just didn't trust myself. I was just gonna overshoot it. And so I get a kill on this player in Salty Springs. So I'm rotating over to Dusty Divot, and so as I'm rotating over, there's gonna be a guy on top of the building. He's trying to take some shots at me, so I ramp up and I'm trying to be as slow as possible. Trust me, it looks really smooth there, but when I was playing, I was like barely touching my analog stick, and I really wanted to go for a side jump there, but I was trying to be as careful as possible, and it is really crazy to control. It looks a lot smoother actually watching it back now, but when I was controlling this myself, it was pretty crazy. And I'm pretty sure this is the type of sensitivity people on mouse and keyboard play on, but with them it's a lot easier to control because they don't have like little joysticks that they have to move back and forth. They have a mouse and they can just stop it whenever they want, so it's a lot easier to control the sensitivity. So here in this next fight, I try to place a few walls down. I got really confused. I didn't know what I was doing. I ended up actually losing the gunfight. So that was the first game I hopped into, and when I really thought about it, I really wasn't building too much, because that was kind of like the one thing I changed. So I decided to hop in some zone wars, because in zone wars you actually build a lot more. You kind of have to tunnel your way through. So I thought it'd be a lot better and a lot more entertaining to hop in zone wars, because you have to build a lot more. So starting out, I think in this zone war, I think I won like 3 games in a row, something crazy like that. So I end up winning quite a few games in a row, and I start out and I try to go for a quick edit play, quick build play, and my build was all over the place. I'm like, looking up and down with my build. what's honestly very hard to get a shot off. And to be honest, the hardest part is after you're building, because you're building like 5 times the speed as your actual sensitivity. After you're building to go back and try to go for a shot, that was probably the hardest part of just trying to land, because you're so used to, you start to play on that crazy high sense, you almost just expect your regular sensitivity to go up as well, because you're just kind of sort of getting used to that sensitivity being so high. So it's getting a little bit harder to control. As you can see, it's just flicking everywhere. And honestly, if I could build like this and actually control it like keyboard and mouse players, I would probably be a very, very good creative warrior. I would do all sorts of crazy spam builds. And that's just the one thing when it comes to creative building, is there's some builds that are a little bit harder than others, but still with like my sensitivity, I feel like it's high enough to go for whatever I want to, but there are some certain limitations, I guess you can say, that make it a little bit harder on some sort of builds. Still possible, still can do it, but definitely makes it a little bit harder. And to be honest with you guys, I'm going to start putting out a lot more Zone War content while it's still out. It kind of sucks as a limited time only game mode, but it should be in for a decent amount longer. So I'm going to be putting out a lot of Zone War content, because one change that they did make in the update was a little bit of player skill matchmaking, which I kind of noticed. I feel like the games I was going into are a little bit harder, or I'm going against a little bit better players than I normally do, which sometimes is kind of annoying, because I'm trying to go for, you know, high kill wins, or at least get a decent amount of wins in a row, and it makes it a little bit harder to do so. But in Zone Wars, I don't really think there's that much. I don't think there's player skill matchmaking in Zone Wars, at least I think. I was going in with a few friends, and I was running into, you know, good players, bad players, all the above. But I feel like public matches, they got a little bit harder. I could be wrong. Maybe it's just me overthinking it. But I do feel like the lobbies I am getting into are a little bit harder. So I want to start playing a lot more Zone Wars and just start grinding this out, because it is really fun to play with a bunch of friends and just talk trash to them while you're just clapping them in some Zone Wars. But since playing on this crazy high sensitivity, one thing I do want to mention as far as my recommendations with building sensitivity, I was just trying them all out. I just happened to do a video, you know, here going to 5, but I tried out, 2x, because that's the one I play on, 2x. I tried out 3x, 4x, and then of course 5x here. And to be honest with you guys, I feel like anything above, I would say a 3, or maybe a little bit, I would say anything above like a 2.7 or a 2.8. And for me, I play on a pretty low sensitivity as well. I feel like I know a lot of people play on a little bit higher, especially for people who do a lot of content when it comes to, you know, creative building and stuff like that. I know they have a little bit higher of a sensitivity, so I play a little bit on the low end. But I feel like when it comes to these other YouTubers and what they play on, some of them do play a little bit lower than I do, but most of them do stay a little bit above. But when it comes to that building sensitivity, I feel like anything above that 2.8 range is definitely going to be way too high. And I feel like maybe with a little bit of practice you can control it, but even for me, when I used to play, you know, without the new settings coming out, I moved up my building sensitivity to a 2, and I feel like a lot of times I still was choking 90s, and I don't really know why this was, but I feel like it just made it a little bit harder to do some sort of build consistently, and I still was able to do all the builds I was used to, but I just feel like the sensitivity was just a little bit too high. And it's kind of like, you know, your regular sensitivity when it comes to aiming, you're still able to aim, but some certain types, and when you play on a higher sensitivity, it's better for really close ranges, and when you have a slower sensitivity, it's better for longer ranges. And this is really true, especially in games like Call of Duty, where closer range, you definitely have to have a higher sensitivity when using a shotgun, because a person next to you is going to be all over your screen, versus someone that is far away, and it's better to have controlled aim rather than a higher sensitivity. And I think that's really true, but you don't want to go too high, and I feel like anything above like a 2.8, in my opinion, is going to be a little bit too high for a building sensitivity. I just decided to put on 5 just to try it out, but I think I'll still play on a 2. Maybe I might move it up like 1 or 2 notches, but for the most part, I think around a 2x is going to be your best bet. Maybe a little bit lower, maybe like a 1.7. I wouldn't go anything lower than that, 1.7, 1.8, all the way up to like a 2.2 or 2.3 is probably one of the best building sensitivities that you can have. And if you guys want to see the rest of my settings, or all of the settings that I have right now, definitely check out the video I made just the other day. I pretty much covered all the new settings. If you guys are curious and want to check out all the settings that I currently have still now, check that video out. I made it just a few days prior, and it's a really good video. I cover everything with the new settings. If you guys are curious with anything that came out or just my sensitivity that I'm using, definitely check it out. And with that being said, that's wrap up for this video. If you guys enjoyed this video, if you guys liked it, make sure you guys do drop a like, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, turn on my post notifications so you guys are notified for every single new video. And alright guys, I'll see you next video.